I would like to talk about how to work on audition sides. Congratulations, you opened up your email and you received an audition notification from your agent. In all the excitement, some actors can fall into the biggest trap, which is jumping immediately into memorizing their lines. Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't learn your lines. The problem with doing it right out of the gate is that you might get stuck in the need to absolutely nail your lines, which can put you immediately into your head. And once you get into your head, it's very difficult to get out again. In this video, I would like to share with you a list of tools and techniques that will help provide you with a consistent process to keep you grounded, creative, and prepared. So it's up to us to decide how to feel about auditioning. Of course, we want to get the job, but viewing the audition as an opportunity to work as opposed to a test of some kind is one of the biggest things that we have to manage. Changing the way that we look at auditioning is one of the first things that can really work in our favor. This mindset should carry over as we begin to work on the material. The aim is to approach it as if it wasn't an audition, but you were simply just going to work, like you're showing up to the set. Robert De Niro once said, "Tell yourself you're not going to get the job." That doesn't mean you don't want the job. Of course you want the job, but the mindset can open you up to taking more risks because you got nothing else to lose. Revealing to the casting director or the director who we really are as actors. And if you're not right for this particular part, you'll be remembered for the next thing that comes along. And the most important thing is to establish the relationship with the casting director. So when you get the sides, the first order of business is to gather the information. And that's not just about reading your lines. It's about gathering all of the information. You don't always get the full script. Sometimes you do. If you do, that's great. Read it. If not, all you have are the pages that you received in the email. So the first order of business would be to read absolutely everything. Read the stuff that's not part of the scene you're supposed to read, like the stuff that's crossed out before it says start, or everything that's in between your lines, the stage directions, the stuff in parentheses. It doesn't mean you have to treat everything as gospel and you have to do every stage direction. What it does is it helps provide you with information about the story and about your character's circumstances and about the relationships. You're also looking for all of the life that exists in between the lines. Behavior, inner life, and real thoughts. Once you've gathered all the information for yourself, this brings you to the next step, which is make it yours. Try to see if you can pinpoint the core event of the scene. In other words, ask yourself the question, what is happening here? What is the event of the scene? What kind of situation is this? You're trying to find your way to the drama. Every scene has a conflict. Every scene is a drama, even if it's a comedy. In fact, it's even more important to find the conflict in the scene if it's a comedy. And also, you're trying to pinpoint the key relationships in the scene, like the main person that you're talking to. When coaching, I often encourage the actors to ask themselves the following question: what does this event feel like? As part of the process to making this circumstance belong to you and connect it and personalize it, if you ask yourself, what does this feel like? You can find your way to a choice that doesn't have to be literal to the imaginary circumstances, but on a human level, it feels something like this. And that's what you can use and bring to the character. The same thing goes for the relationships in the scene for who you're talking to. if you simply ask yourself, what does this relationship feel like? It can help bring you to a choice of something that's really powerful and keep you out of a literalness about how to treat it, because drama is heightened reality. It's very rare that you're going to find something in your own personal life that's exactly like the circumstances that are revealed in the scene. That task is left to your imagination. But you're trying to personalize it enough so that you can ground yourself in a sensation and in a truth. Okay, the next step is to find the arc. Regardless of the scene's length, it could be one line. The scene still has an arc, a beginning, middle, and end. Every scene starts somewhere and ends up somewhere else. So you want to look at your character and imagine, try to feel what the journey of your character is throughout the scene. Where do they start and where do they end up? And this will help you find different colors that you can express and explore in the scene. If you can connect to the emotional journey of the character, it gives you a lot of things that you can play with in the audition. Now, once you've gathered all of those elements, it's now an appropriate time for you to focus on how to learn your lines. But I'm going to throw another monkey wrench in here and suggest that you don't memorize, that there's a process to learning your lines more through osmosis and in a more healthy way that keeps you connected to the circumstances and to the moment-to-moment journey of the character. So here's the step that you can take. Don't memorize. Instead, see if you can improvise your way through the scene without the page. If you can improvise through the scene from beginning to end, and if there's anything missing, not necessarily lines missing, but if there are things missing in your memory about what is happening moment to moment, you can fill it in and try improvising it again when you go back and review the page. So it's not necessarily about what are all the lines that I have to learn. You also have to learn about the transitions, the inner life, and all of the things that are happening in between the lines, because that's a huge part of the storytelling of the scene. And it also keeps you alive and creative and not in your head about the words. If you can improvise your way through the scene, when you go back to the page and you look back at the lines one more time, the lines will more easily jump into your memory. It's not just about learning words, and you're not just acting lines in the scene. The lines are always connected to something that your character is doing emotionally and psychologically. These tools and techniques are things that you should incorporate in your own way. Don't worry about being perfect. I would love to know the different things that helped you stay free and creative in your auditions. Feel free to leave them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this one. Go to the description below for links to our website as well as our free weekly newsletter. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.